what I have written is called the United Independent Compensatory Code. And a part of that code, I invented something called VGQ, which means Victims Guaranteed Qualification. What does that mean? That means that every non-white person has the privilege, you might say, or the duty, whatever word you want to use, to say, underline say, whatever he or she wants to say about race, racism, and or counter-racism. Has the duty to do that. Why? Why do I call it Victims Guaranteed Qualification? Because you're qualified to say what you want to about your victimization. My book is written, one of the subtitles is, or complementary titles is, Textbook Workbook for Thought, Speech, and Action for Victims of White Supremacy. So I say that I am a victim of white supremacy. There are a lot of black people who would say, well, I'm no victim. I ain't nobody's victim. I ain't going to call myself no victim. I'm a man, or I'm a woman, and I ain't nobody's victim. Don't call me no victim. So you call yourself by whatever you want to call yourself. But the record kind of shows that on a day-to-day basis in the system of white supremacists, what you will function as being is whatever the white supremacists say that you will function as being. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say Victims Guaranteed Qualification? So that black people, for once and forever, for the future, will stop arguing with each other about their victimization. Because that's what usually happens in debates between black people when they get together and start saying, well, I'm going to give you my view on our situation. And then the next thing you know, they're arguing with each other and might even have a big falling out. And what comes from that, mathematically, I'm talking about using logic now, is absolutely nothing of constructive value. So the BGQ factor says that whatever a black person says about his or her view about racism, to me, is acceptable to me. I don't care what it is. Even if they say racism doesn't exist, I'm not going to argue with them. All arguments between victims should stop right this minute. Every argument about race, racism, or counter-racism. Counter-racism means what to do about it. No, whatever you think should be done about it, do it. And try to get somebody else to do it if you can, if you think that that's the way to go. And I, Neely Fuller, or nobody else, should have anything to say about it. Why? Because you earn the duty to speak your own mind, not somebody else's mind, about any way that you see your victimization. You have already paid the price for that. And no one should try to take that away from you, because no one has that so-called quote-unquote right. VGQ, Victims Guaranteed Qualification. Every non-white person on the planet has that. And no one should stand up and speak who is non-white, saying, I disagree with that, and that ain't the way to go, and sit down and shut up and listen to me. Why listen to me? Why should anybody listen to me and I'm still a victim? The only person that will ever come anywhere close to having that qualification, who is non-white, is a person who is no longer subject to white supremacy, him or herself. Why? Logically speaking, because no one has solved this problem. So how can one person disagree with another person about what the solution is when no one says or has proven that he or she has the solution? Sometimes people have said, and I've heard some black people say this, well, people won't listen to me, but I got the solution to the problem. Well, I have a question. if you have the solution, why is it that I have the problem? Because if you had a solution, I wouldn't have the problem. End of story.